Thank you for joining. I'm very excited for today's episode. I have Andrew McDonald on the show. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Thanks so much for having me, Matt. I appreciate this.
Andrew is the co-executive director at Wanuskewin Heritage Park.
Yeah.
Andrew's been with Wanuskewin as a team member since 2011, contributing to the growth and development of the park and igniting a passion for tourism with him along the way. In this time at Wanuskewin, the park has reached several important milestones, including multiple provincial and national tourism and marketing awards from Tourism Saskatchewan, national recognition from the Tourism Industry Association of Canada and the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, as well as recently winning the top Indigenous tourism destination in Canada in 2023. So congrats on those.
Thank you.
Andrew is a founding member of, I can't say this, Kichiota Indigenous Tourism Corridor, as well as a proud founding member of Indigenous Destinations Saskatchewan.
Yes.
And along with that, we'll probably get into this a few times, so I'll mention it, but you've been a member of the Saskatoon Soaps for 25 years.
Yeah, it's been a passion for most of my life. That connection with people, being able to be light on your feet for sure, but also it's really those emotional connections that you create on stage is something that I think really is as important off stage. So in regards to communication, in regards to team building and that, I think so many of those improv skills translate to business as well.
Yeah, well, that was actually my question. It was like, are they two separate things? Like you works over here and the work with Saskatoon Soaps is over here? Or is it just like Andrew is that type of person with that type of energy and that just shows in all areas of his life?
I think I'm comfortable in front of groups, right? I've had the opportunity to, present to all groups, kind of large and small, both with the Soaps and then with Wanuskewin. But it really is the interpersonal dynamics, those bits of communication, and making sure that you are attentively listening. So that the old adage of yes and, where you are making an offer to me. Hey, let's go grab some ice cream at the store. I'm accepting that. I'm listening and I'm accepting that. I don't have a front-loaded response where I'm ready to jump back at you, but I'm listening, internalizing, and then I'm accepting and advancing. So, hey, let's go to the grocery store. We're going to get some ice cream. Yes, and let's take my car to go do it. Now I'm listening, accepting, advancing, and then that's how you build a scene. Same thing applies if I'm not being an active listener when we're in the boardroom. That really doesn't make your team member feel valued. That doesn't, that shuts down maybe some good ideas, especially where there is those non-verbal communication where I can't wait for you to stop talking so I can jump down your throat kind of idea. That does nothing and in regards to building up that kind of team vibe, that team energy. And so
is that a learned thing? Like, was that like that seems like a framework you learned, what do you call it? Listening, accepting, advancing?
Yeah, right. So listening, accepting, and advancing. And so that was part of the tenets of improv. And those are shared worldwide. A few years ago, I had the chance to jump in with an improv group in Hawaii. And we were performing. It was actually the coolest venue I've ever performed in, but we performed in this little Buddhist temple in a town called Haiku in Maui. And it was this tiny, I think maybe there's 50 seats in there, but I had never met anybody on the stage that I was about to take the stage with. I'd met them maybe an hour beforehand, but there's a shared understanding that we all had. Completely different backgrounds, completely different improv experiences, but everybody has that agreed upon kind of rules that we are going to listen to one another, we are going to accept, we are going to advance. There's some shared games and stuff like that we all know in common, but there's a million different names for those games. But in my 25, 30 years that I've been doing improv, you just kind of learn all these things. And now improv is a big part of travel for me, like those personal travel, being able to message a group in a town or a city I'm going to and see if I can jump in with them. That's a big part of my goal for the next 5-10 years of my life. I want to really work in with different groups for the experience of it.
Is this like a dark page on the internet where you go find the directory of improv groups?
No, every town, you can just Google it, and every town usually has a group. Some groups are more open to having a complete stranger come jump in on a show than others. Understandable. But I really think that is really fulfilling. That fills kind of my cup, to be able to have those experiences, to share that nonverbal kind of bond with other improv actors. So I want to certainly pay it forward to anybody that's coming into the city. The Soaps have been lucky enough to have been at the Broadway Theatre for 41 years here in Saskatoon. And that really is our home. We work closely with the staff there to, make the shows and experiences positive ones. And I absolutely want for that to be the same thing for any improv actors that are coming in from outside of Saskatoon. Jump in on a show with us. Try it out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm glad to learn about this.
Yeah.
You have a family.
Yes.
Have you shared this passion with your spouse or your 2 kids?
Yeah. And I think, my son had taken some classes. He did not like it. My daughter, who's 15, she likes to come to the shows. She'll sell t-shirts and posters at the shows and stuff like that. That's what she wants to do. My wife runs if she were to see an improv stage. So they don't necessarily have the same interest in the way that I do, but everybody's really supportive of their crazy dad.
What do people assume you can do? Like, like a skateboarder you run by, people yell, do a kickflip, a comedian, tell a joke.
Yeah, exactly. Actually,
what's a thing about just improv that people might assume you can just like...
Yeah, well, I think the misnomer for it is that people will say, oh, I've got a really good idea for a sketch for you. Or else they will say, tell me a joke. Well, it doesn't really work like that, right? It's when I was a younger improviser, the worst thing that I could do was come into a show or a scene with, I've got 10 hilarious ideas that I'm going to try to shoehorn into this scene come hell or high water. And it's not... It doesn't work. It's a guaranteed fail. It has to really be organic. You really have to be in the moment, because if you're trying to shoehorn in something that isn't naturally there, I almost think that the audience can like sniff it out, where they know that this is... Where did that come from?
I feel like that could almost be a skit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You should do it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, let's go to the store and get some ice cream. Yes, but we're going to take my tugboat to get there. Say tugboat. Say tugboat. Say we're taking my tugboat, because I've got a hilarious...
Yeah, your debrief after?
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah.
I set you up for this alley-oop and you just...
Yeah, exactly.
Just like all this pressure.
Yeah, exactly. But it really... the cast of... the Soaps that like we've been together, most of us have been together for, 20 years, 15, 20 years. And those are people that it is, when you do a good show, it is almost like hitting a harmonic on I used to play cello. So it's almost like hitting a harmonic on a cello or a guitar or whichever, where it is the right amount of pressure, your finger on that string, strumming it correctly or bowing it, and that sound just rings out. When you are in an improv scene that just works, it is like you're untouchable. It's almost like you're floating off the stage a few feet or something like that, because it is just this alchemy of all these perfect things all working at the same time. So,
do you ever get goosebumps? Like,
yeah.
You finish it and you're like, oh, that was good.
Yeah. And I've had moments where pre-show, I'm not nervous, and I don't those are usually the worst shows because you need to have some nervous energy in order to elevate your performance. You have to have that. So I've gone on stage where you're, maybe overtired or whatever, whatever the case may be, you're in your head about stuff. That's a real kind of inspiration killer. So if you can kind of quiet those noises or those voices and just be in the scene, that's when that real connection happens.
Do you feel like you have to be pretty vulnerable to do a good job? Like,
yes, I do, because if you aren't willing to make an ass of yourself, if you aren't willing to kind of take down any cool facade or whatever. I decided I'm not cool years ago.
You owned your
yeah,
self.
The not cool. Yeah.
Is anyone cool though?
You really, if there is any kind of pretense in that regard, it really, that's what gets in the way of you maybe going deep on trying to play a character, or sometimes that struggle is something that the audience really appreciates seeing. You're trying to do an accent, or you have been in the scene. Maybe you're an expert in something and you know nothing about that thing. Well, yes, you are an expert. Absolutely, you're an expert. So expound on everything that you know about this subject, real or imagined. And I think that's really important to, as you say, kind of be vulnerable and just let it go.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I still get nervous. Like, you know what? Maybe, I've been told that's a good thing. It means you care, right?
It is. Yeah. That's exactly right. You care, and you are, again, I think that nervous energy means you're dialed in and focused too. Yeah.
I like that. How do you see yourself doing this for like quite a long time, till the end of your days?
I would love to. I have, friends growing up that played hockey or whatever, and at a certain point, they're not going to be able to play anymore. They're just not. I would love to continue to do improv and kind of that be my creative outlet for the rest of my life until I can't get on stage anymore. And even then, I mean, maybe there's an opportunity for maybe it's improvising holograms that are up on stage or something like that, where you're improvising against an AI generated whatever. I'd love to keep doing it, because that is really that energizes me for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. How much time does this take from you a week? Like the commitment?
We do monthly shows now. It used to be that we did every week at, it used to be that we did every week at midnight. And, as I got out of my 20s, and the rest of the group as well, that was just not realistic anymore. So we've switched to a monthly format. They're 8:00 shows, and it is much easier on our constitutions, so being able to have a really good house. Broadway theater is like a 400-seat theater. So we'll bring in a good group, and then be able to focus and have a strong show once a month.
Is there like a format you have to invent every time, or do you follow a certain format, or like how much is new and how much is it sort of the same as before?
Yeah. So we have,
I feel like we could talk about this the whole show.
I know.
we'll talk about other stuff, but we're going to dive in.
We have a format that is created by the guy who's organizing the show that month. So sometimes that format means that we'll pepper in some games into traditional improv games into that show. Sometimes it's new formats that we want to try. Maybe it's like a herald, or maybe it is like a musical theater kind of thing. But that's up to the person who's coordinating the show that month.
So once a year, you would maybe coordinate the show?
Yes, exactly.
Like everybody kind of takes a turn.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of the old Die Hard movie. And so one of the shows that we're doing this season is around Christmas time is Miracle at Nakatomi Plaza. And so this is all about, recreating some of those characters, recreating some of those classic scenes from Die Hard, but doing it with fresh eyes and lots of input from the audience too. So we're getting reaction from the audience as we react to what they've given us.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said it fills your cup.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being able to do something that you're passionate about, I feel very lucky. I've been doing improv since I was about 15. I'm much older now. So being able to do that. So being able to do that, something that I really care about. And again, friends in my cast that have really become brothers and sisters who are all equally as passionate about like doing it for the sake of improv, doing it for the sake of comedy, doing it for the sake of just being goofy is really freeing.
I recently watched the John Candy documentary.
Me too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that sort of was improv, the origins of him getting in there, right? With all those like SCTV characters.
Yeah. So you'll see that that's the case for a lot of different comedic TV shows or movies. There is the kernel of improv that usually leads to some of the most classic kind of iconic scenes that you have seen in your life. I know, Kids in the Halls, a lot of those sketches started with improv. Same thing for Tina Fey and the work that she would do in movies would come out of an improv or onto SNL. So improv can be the kind of kernel for these bigger ideas that later get refined and kind of polished up, but it starts with improv.
So back to that John Candy documentary, was that kind of a cool like heritage of like, that was the first time for me seeing many of those stories.
And really?
I didn't even realize it was produced in Edmonton for one season.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. I had the opportunity a couple of years ago to meet Martin Short.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him about that time in Edmonton, and he looked back at it so fondly. Can you just tell by the way his face lit up when he was talking about this, that time working with Eugene Levy or Catherine O'Hara or like all those iconic people that we know now, but these were 20 somethings working in Edmonton, and it was like, okay, you've got a slot of whatever it was, 10 shows, but there's no guarantee after that. Meanwhile, what they did is now something that is like, for comedy nerds, this is, I mean,
are there archives where you can watch these? Like, and even for you, would you film and just document for posterity's sake?
Oh, like an improv scene?
Yeah, like your shows or...
No, we haven't. It's very much been, it happens in the moment and then it's gone. So
is that part of the gift of it?
I kind of like it
it's
that
a bit
way.
fleeting. And...
Yeah. And I think sometimes, comedy can die on the operating table where there's analysis of everything. And that, I just think if it's just a matter of, you said it, you did it, and it's gone forever, I think there's something to be said about that as well.
No, my favorite type of comedy.
Yeah.
I love raunchy / offensive kind of stuff. Do you get to do that in...
Yeah, at times. Certainly if the audience, if that's what the audience is giving you. We have done shows where it's, we've done improv shows for like little kids, right? So
you got different audiences.
Yeah. So and everything in between. And I think there's different muscles that you're using for each show to try and raise your game to what the audience is giving you, right? So sometimes it is it's almost too easy to be really dirty.
Yeah.
And usually if you start dirty, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So trying to elevate, being a little bit more clever about it. You're supposed to be improvising. This is the Del Close theory, is you're supposed to be improvising to the top of your intelligence. And so if there is, a dirty suggestion that's given to you, if there's a turn of phrase that you can put into that, if there's something that you can do to flip it, that is usually, it just makes it better. It elevates things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think the comedy I like things that poke fun of norms or things that are too politically correct.
Yes.
Or just like, I find that really funny because I feel like, especially in the marketing world, it seems like everybody takes it too seriously. And it's like, there's a human side that's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just okay. Like, it's funny. Like, it's funny. Like, things can be funny without it being offensive. And it's like, and I feel like it gives permission when you see something like that. I'm not going to give any examples.
Do you think that that's the case, that maybe you gravitate towards that because it is almost like the comedian or whomever, maybe there is a marketing campaign that's out there where it's almost like they're taking down the veneer of being polished or inauthentic, and you're kind of seeing a little bit more of, what's behind the curtain a little bit. Is that maybe why you gravitate towards that?
That's a great question. I haven't dissected it. I think, if I were to guess, there's like a human side where it's like, we all go to work and we put on our best face.
Yeah.
And then when things are poked fun of, then it's like, oh yeah, we're all just human. We all can laugh. And I think it's like when everybody can laugh at it, I think that's what I like the most.
Yeah.
I don't think tearing people down is funny, but
no.
Tearing down someone who thinks they're all that is funny. Like, jokes about Donald Trump are funny because he tries so hard to be a certain thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at the end of the day, like if I were to meet him in person, it probably wouldn't be a bad experience. Like I think it would be, but like, you're poking at personas and you're poking at ideas. And I think at the end of the day, it's like, we're all just trying to live a good life.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
That idea of punching up versus punching down, right? So if it is, a politician in power or something like that versus, someone who maybe has not had the privilege or experiences that you have had in your life, that idea of punching up is, I think, best typified by, say, satire.
Yeah.
So a show like The Daily Show, for example, is a great example of kind of taking the air out of these big constructs and boiling it down and showing that sometimes those people that are at the podium kind of pontificating, maybe they don't have the best intentions, or maybe there's what is the alternative point of view to this. I think that is, I really gravitate towards shows like that for sure.
Yeah, there was a funny skit. I think it was one of the actors from This Hour Has 22 Minutes, and he had literally, like, he's the guy who always makes fun of or impersonates Justin Trudeau, and then he had Justin Trudeau on it, and he was showing this like flag or something, and it started to look like the F Trudeau thing, but then it was like good luck Trudeau instead of F Trudeau, but it just started with Trudeau, and then you can see the CK, and
so good.
It was just kind of like, and then Justin's like, okay,
yeah,
and then it was
so good.
It was just like having a bit of courage to, like, poke a little bit. Or there was another one, I think it might have been the same actor, but he was making fun of Pierre Poilievre at like some press dinner or something. And I just like, it was fun because it like makes even these people human, like even Justin Trudeau or Pierre Poilievre or Mark Carney, like, you realize, it's just, it almost makes you love them more. And it shows an endearing side, especially if they're in on the joke or part of the joke or something.
Yeah.
Because these are just people too who have hopes, dreams, families.
I the older that I get, the more experiences that I have, I really do believe that to be true, is that the quicker that you can get ego out of the equation, the quicker that you can get kind of I'm infallible. The quicker that is put to the side, the quicker that you can start to do good work together, right? In regards to team dynamics and that. So if I messed up, I want to take ownership over that and admit it so that we can move on. That doesn't mean that I get a free pass every time I do that. I need to be accountable, but I just think that there's no place for that in relationships generally, in my opinion. But I just don't think it doesn't do anybody any good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I think to have a little bit of humility, to be humble, to be going back to improv, to be kind of open to suggestion, that is really important as part of those team dynamics, leadership dynamics as well.
Mm-hmm. I find them I get a photograph some private corporate events once in a while. And
yeah.
It's pretty funny when some of the team members can tease the CEO, and I don't know, like, you don't know, maybe there's some like backlash after the fact, but
yeah.
but it's like it's funny how it brings people together. Yeah, you get that ego out of there, and I find humor is a good tool to like
yes.
knock down those, whatever you want to call it, those walls or
yes.
those constructs. And
yes, don't ask me the year, but in, let's say, the 1600s in France, there was a famous phrase that came out of that. Don't quote me on this, but I'm trying to quote myself on this. Is that, or quote someone on this, is that the health of a society can be demonstrated by the satire that is being produced. Or this is a way more convoluted than what that quote was. But it's basically to say, if there isn't the ability to poke fun at those in charge, if there isn't the ability to poke fun at yourself, there's something wrong. Because I really do think, as you've just said, that humor is a great way to kind of get down to business and be able to kind of break down that artifice, right? That fake, those fake walls and kind of those polished veneers. It's really, it is, it's important for communication. I think just being able to be open, and yeah, I think that's really important.
Well, yeah. And you know what you're saying about like society, certain cultures at this very moment, you couldn't say things without
right.
maybe being, murdered, or not murdered, but, your life or being at risk.
There'd be major ramifications for,
But it says something about society to be like a safe place where you could speak out and, make fun or even like even strongly oppose an idea. And there's a safe space, I think. Yeah, it's a great way to measure it. And you probably go back to like even Roman times, like jesters and stuff would make fun of, I mean, I don't have any examples. I just know from, movies and like the fact that jester was a thing for much of culture.
Right. Yes, exactly. Think about it from even in your own experience, like elementary school, when you had the opportunity to speak up in class and you made a joke and your teacher appreciated that joke, right? Doesn't that then, I think it just kind of takes down that construct of that relationship. Your teacher's up here and is all knowing, and then you are
a lowly,
right,
peasanty student.
Yeah, and you'll when you're called upon. But I think that those teachers that create that dialogue, or hey, you know what? I did make a mistake on this test. I misnumbered the whatever. I just think that is a great way of engaging students.
Yeah. My favorite example of this is when Ricky Gervais, who's one of my favorite comedians. I don't know how you feel about him.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah.
But I think it was the Academy Awards or the Golden Globes or the Emmys, some show. He's the MC, and he's drinking a beer and he's like just calling people out, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't even believe you asked me to do it. And I was like, if everybody's in on it, this is great.
Yes.
And if everybody's not, it's still great because that's even more funny.
Yes.
And then everybody in the room's just like, he's just bold enough to say it.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So, okay. So, we're connecting this to, marketing to me isn't really about marketing. It's about an organization trying to grow something, trying to do and accomplish something. So, we can talk about. That's my segue, by the way. Terrible.
Oh, it's good. I liked it. Yeah.
But we're trying to use our skills as humans to share a message.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, when it comes to Wanuskewin, how does your role there, like, how do you see your role? How would you know if you're doing a good job there in your role?
Well, there would be measurables, right? There would be measurables. Are people coming out to the park? Are people engaging with what we're doing online? Is there those community connections? What is feedback from, we have an elders council, a Kiteak council. What's the feedback that we're getting from them? So there's a number of different measurables. Some are like hard numbers, black and white. And then others is that communication that I'm getting back, like I say, from our elders council. Is that positive? Is that negative? What are the things that I need to work on? I'm actually part of there's a 3-person co-executive director team that's running the park at Wanuskewin.
Yeah, because you were interim CEO.
I was,
and
yes.
Now it's that role's shared across 3 people.
Correct.
And you're one of the 3.
Yes. So Doug Heinford from Pipikissis First Nation, as well as Janaea Chutzkoff, who is our project lead on UNESCO designation. The 3 of us are kind of working together. So I'm accountable to our board. I'm accountable to our elders, as I mentioned, and then I'm accountable to my team, 3 co-executive directors, and accountable to our staff. So I think Wanuskewin's role within the community is really important in that we try to be a reflection of the community. And my role specifically, I view as being like a connector for staff to be able to go share their knowledge, to share their art, to share their cuisine, or whatever the case may be. That's my role, is to act as the connector, and everything that we do within marketing is a reflection of that.
And tourism, like, obviously from your intro, like, that's a big connection. So like one of your main goals would be to get more people to the site.
Absolutely.
So in that responsibility, like, how does that, what's your goals there? Like, how do you, you got field trips. I mean, everybody I know has a memory of going there as a kid.
Yeah.
But I actually recently went there photographing, this for Campotex. They hosted they call it the fertilizer management program. They invited all their clients from around the world.
Wow.
Singapore, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, like they flew them all to here.
Wow.
And one of the first things they did was actually brought them to Wanuskewin.
Right. Yeah.
And so I got to see it again. And I've been there like many times, as a kid, as an adult now. And it was pretty neat to see like these people who aren't Canadian, they don't know Canada. And like, I was like, this is a pretty cool place as far as like just Canadian history.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say, I guess, for anybody that doesn't know Wanuskewin, this park is, the reason for the park existing overall is to celebrate a 6,400-year legacy of First Nations peoples, people of the Northern Plains, having come to this valley, which is just behind Wanuskewin's building. So having come to this valley, the Opimihaw Valley, for over, again, 6,400 years, so twice as old as the Egyptian pyramids. People have been gathering there, having come there for ceremony, having come there for trade, having come there for hunting as well. So when I think about that in a modern day context, that's exactly what continues to happen. But now we're talking about, on a global scale, people are coming to this place to meet up for trade, for ceremony, for connection. And I think that is really remarkable. One of our board members had mentioned a couple days ago, when I go to visit another city or another town, and I might have friends or family that are there, and they're taking me to see the sites, right? I want to show you all about Calgary or Toronto or Vancouver or whatever. The fact is that us here in Saskatoon, in Treaty 6 territory, there is a place that cannot be replicated anywhere else in the world. And that's exactly what this UNESCO World Heritage designation is about, that we're searching for, we're working towards, is that the United Nations recognizes you as being completely unique in the world. Prior to that designation, we know that to be the case in our community and in the province and in Canada, because through oral tradition, through the archaeological record that's been created there, there's 41 years of the longest running archaeological dig study in Canadian history.
And that's still going on, right?
No, it's not.
Right.
There's no active dig anymore, but there still is archaeological programming at the park. And we will certainly talk about that as part of the experience when people come to the park. But there is no other place like this. You can't copy this. You can't franchise it. That's not possible. And so I used to live in Waterton Lakes National Park. And this is southwestern Alberta. It's right on the border of the U.S.
And the glacier is the American side?
Glacier is the American side,
Okay,
yeah. And so
I've heard good things. I've never visited. It's on our bucket list.
It's beautiful. And it really is where the prairies meet the mountains. So you'll drive along, it's like flat prairie, and then all of a sudden there's this massive mountain range that appears. That soil mixture that happens there, I'm not a scientist, but that soil mixture that happens there creates these wildflowers, or sustains these wildflowers that grow there that do not occur anywhere else in the world. $10,000 fine for picking one of those flowers there. And that is the gist of their UNESCO World Heritage designation. For Wanuskewin, it is that this is a fantastic and complete representation of Northern Plains Indigenous cultures, because there is evidence and, again, oral tradition that every single nation on the Northern Plains has gathered at that spot over the last 6,400 years. That's pretty incredible to think about.
Yeah.
And so as we're on this journey to UNESCO World Heritage designation, we aim to be the first in Saskatchewan's history and only the 23rd in Canadian history to get that designation. So why do it? I guess is the question that we get asked a lot, is what's the point? And the fact is that there isn't a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, meaning our nonprofit, Wanuskewin Heritage Park, is a nonprofit. We're a registered charity. There isn't like funding that comes along with that or anything. But what this means is that we would be benefited by that international spotlight being shone on the prairies, Saskatchewan, and Northern Plains culture specifically. So to me, that is something to aspire to, because the benefit of that is felt all around our country, certainly within our province as well. Mm-hmm. And being able to be a part of that is something that I hope our entire community feels a part of. Again, Wanuskewin is we're not a national park, we're not a provincial park or a municipal park, but it was born out of an act of the government of Saskatchewan. And so we have prescribed seats on our board that help guide the park. But make no mistake, this is not like there is we have that funding that comes in every year that we know is going to be there. And so supporting the park, all Canadians, certainly all people from around Saskatchewan, being able to support the park there's a number of different ways, is critical, because there is no place like this in the world, and it's right here in our backyard. So if you see value in this, if you would like to support a place like this, it really, you do that by participating. You do that by making a donation, by volunteering, by coming out on the weekend and coming and supporting the park. There's a number of different ways that you can do that. And to think that we will have a UNESCO World Heritage site in our backyard in the next few years is incredible.
Yeah. Tell me about the dig. Okay, so you said it's not active anymore. Is there a reason for that? Did they find everything out and figure it all out?
No.
Is it because it's like sacred and they want to just preserve it as is?
Yeah. So,
tell me.
So the
that.
University of Saskatchewan has been a critical partner with Wanuskewin. It's students from the University of Saskatchewan who have been participating in the field school program led by Dr. Ernie Walker. So Dr. Walker is one of the founders of Wanuskewin. He has been with the park, as I say, for 33 years now. But his work on the land, his research on the land, those connections to really progressive thinking, forward-thinking people, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, who helped realize this park when there wasn't a roadmap for this, to me it's kind of baffling to dream up this idea of what this park could be. This giant umbrella that holds under it performing arts, culinary arts, visual arts, heritage, culture, all these different pieces, and have this incredible archaeological record like this is pretty amazing. So 41 years later of archaeological research at the site, there's over 200,000 artifacts that have come out of that dig site. And all the bones that were collected or were found there, about 97% of those are bison. So this is Bison Central, located at Wanuskewin. There's 2 bison jumps there. There's a bison processing site. Really, a lot of that economic activity that happened there would be centered around bison. So for us to have brought back bison in the winter of 2019.
I remember that. That was a
yeah.
big
Do you
deal.
remember that day?
Yeah. Well, I remember the announcement even before that.
Yeah.
I think it was Don Atch was there, and I can't remember who else. But that was a big deal, just announcing it. And then when it came, and I don't remember who made the video, but I remember a video of a big, semi truck or whatever.
Yeah.
Some livestock hauler.
Yeah.
And, I feel like that would have been a pretty spiritual moment with a few tears from people.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Bison had nearly gone extinct by the year 1870. Meaning they'd gone from 30 million down to just 1,000 left in existence. That's it. So that 1,000 split up. Some went down to start Yellowstone National Park. Some bounced around here in Canada, mostly northern Alberta. And so on that day, December 7th of 2019, it was the first time in 150 years when that trailer gate opened, the first time in 150 years that a bison hoof would have set foot on the ground. Then 10 days later, we were able to bring back bison from that American herd as well. Now it's the first time in 150 years that the American and Canadian herds had seen one another. Then that spring, it was the first time in 150 years that babies were born on the land there as well. So yes, this is important historically. Yes, this is important biologically, like to reintroduce bison back. But culturally, this was incredibly important. And hearing from those that were leading ceremony that day, from our elders who were so incredibly excited for bison to come back and the gifts that the bison were going to bring, it was an absolutely unbelievable moment to see that happen again. And now guests, when they come to the park, can see them. Yeah. They can, so many of the stories, all the programming that we do within the building and on the land and the trails is about bison. And now guests, when they come out to the park, can see a 1,900-pound bull, how strong, how fast, how majestic they really are. Wow. Wow. And that connection of bison to Northern Plains culture, Northern Plains cultures, as well as that connection to the land. Again, I'm not a scientist, but bison are recognized as being a keystone species. So by reintroducing bison back to this land, there's acres that they have at the park. They are positively affecting their environment. So a bison, their hooves are like rototillers, right? So every step that they take, they're churning up the earth. They're messy eaters, so they're spreading seed everywhere. A lot of that seed's getting caught in their beards and that, right? And dropping all over the place. Of course, they're fertilizing all the time as well. And that's creating these little environments for pollinator bugs. Those bugs are then feasted upon by these little blackbirds that ride on the backs of bison. They swoop down and they eat those, little bugs. Then comes, hawks, eagles, larger birds. Then comes coyotes, fox, deer, moose even. But it all starts with the bison. And anecdotally, I could say that I have noticed the ways that the land has changed there, but certainly the biome has changed there as well, as we're seeing birds we have not seen in years, or else the frequency of birds that we've not seen in years. Bald eagles. We're 5 minutes from Saskatoon. It's crazy how fast things are starting to come back because of the reintroduction of the bison.
That's cool. It's hard to imagine. I remember watching Planet Earth, and they had this documentary on caribou, I think it was, in the north, which is much less habited by humans, and they're just able to free roam, but they migrate like thousands of kilometers, and it's hard to imagine what the plains would have been like years ago.
Yeah.
You said 30 million was the herd. And
yeah.
What's that movie with, I think it's called The Revenant or Remnant or...
The Revenant, yes.
That one seemed to paint, I think that was kind of poised at the end of, showing the, the mass
overhunting and loss of habitat. And yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I felt like that did a good job of painting a picture of maybe the height of just that. And
right.
It's hard to imagine just rolling plains and you're talking about rototilling. It's how, if you'd never had the idea of just free grassland, just open plains forever.
Right. Yeah.
That's something, because nowadays you fly in an airplane, you see the grid of all the farmers.
Correct. Yeah.
But just to be this is just open land for animals, and it'd be pretty beautiful. And just we'll never get to experience that. I was at Wanuskewin, and they said, I haven't been there yet, but the southwest corner of the park has some wild bison. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I do know other First Nations are starting to start their own herds and that, which is fantastic. What a great way to again reintroduce missing cultural component. There's also lots of environmental benefit that bison bring, and a way to a revenue stream for the community if that's the choice that they make, but it is it's pretty amazing to see bison numbers starting to regrow.
It's beautiful. We live in a world where there's just more people, and I don't see a path of less people.
Right.
But to have places like Wanuskewin to, cherish, champion the story, the history, I really like natural history documentaries, but I also find the way the humans interacted with, I wish James Cameron actually would come and make a $100 million, $1 billion movie, just on some, the history there, and just paint a picture of what it would have been like to be, back then, before, just sort of the untouched culture. And I think Wanuskewin does a good job of painting that picture.
Right.
I assume that's part of the goal of just...
Absolutely. So as much as we talk about history, and that's a big part of it. But then we also want to be showcasing, like in a contemporary sense, who are the movers and shakers in our community that are doing good things. What does modern art look like from indigenous artists? So, for example,
Because you have 3 art galleries at the,
yeah, we have 2.
or sorry, 2.
Yeah. But we have an artist in residence program that we launched a few years ago. And so this is an opportunity for guests to come and see an artist doing their thing, and be able to ask questions, and a variety of different art styles that a lot of, artists will come in, painters or sculptors or you name it. And the uniqueness of every one of these residencies that's happening has just been, it's been so awesome to witness, because some artists, head down, want to get to work, they want to do their thing. And other artists doors are wide open to the maker space. Come on in, let's interact. I want to show you what I'm doing. And all of it results in a show at the end. So that program is keeping our Greg and Olivia Ewell galleries busy. We're churning shows every couple months, and hearing the stories of those individual artists has been a pretty cool experience as well. Starting in the new year, and we will have Chris Chipak, who is an artist who has done lots of work.
Chris.
Do you know him?
I photographed him like a month ago.
There you go. Okay, so
and he needed a headshot really quickly. So I wonder if it was for this.
Wanuskewin, I wonder. Yeah, so he's done like incredible work for the Rough Riders this past year, and his work is starting to get out like crazy. He does digital work, but then he also does acrylic painting too. And so we are super excited to host him, and then see all the great pieces that he produces during his residency too. So excited.
Wanuskewin's like, so it's so multifaceted. Like by itself, it could be an art gallery.
Yeah.
By itself, it could be a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like a historical museum, event space, a place for learning.
Yeah.
And then like last time I was there, I mean, I saw the picture of like the 4 seasons through the same valley.
Yeah.
What was the name of the valley? Sorry, I just call it
The
Wanuskewin.
Opimihaw Valley. So Opimihaw is a traditional name that was given to one of the park founders. His name is Senator Hilliard McNabb. But the word Opimihaw means man whose feet don't touch the ground, or man who floats. So this is a tribute to Hilliard McNabb.
So what, it's a place for all these things. And like, just as you were telling me about it, like, it seems like this place is bringing healing. Like, the bison are coming, and literally I would deem that as healing the land, bringing it back a little bit.
I really hope that guests to the park, regardless of what the thing is that brought them there in the first place, maybe they're really interested to learn more about archaeology, or maybe they're bison, or maybe they're foodies, like whatever the thing is.
Yeah, you got the food, and then, or maybe just to bring the kids for a playground.
Or, there we go.
I know a lot of people who bike through there too. Like, they're kind of connected at Wanuskewin
We've
trails.
Got a beautiful gift shop there on site as well. So, I mean, there's a million different reasons that you might come. I've never heard of anybody leaving who didn't have 2 or 3 other reasons that they wanted to come back. So we have about a dozen programs that we offer people. Guided tours out to see the bison. We have a program called Step Back in Time, so you can learn about innovations and technology that was used traditionally. So there are things that happen within those programs that people, this inspires more questions, or it just creates this interest in the park. And that's why members to the park have been with us for years and years and years, is because you can come out to Wanuskewin and go in our art gallery, or see the exhibits and spend the time inside. You could also spend the day outside, exploring on your own. Maybe you and your family want to come out, and there's about 7 kilometers of hiking trails to explore in the valley. 19 different archaeological points of interest down there in the valley. But maybe you just want to, you and your family want to come out there and you guys want to go explore on your own. Or maybe you want to come out and you want to go out with a guide, and the guide is sharing their knowledge with you and their story with you.
That's my favorite.
Right. In fact, I think that is the most powerful experience that you can have at the park, is to go out with a guide who is, they've got their points of info points that they're hitting for sure, but it really is their personal story that is what makes the park so unique. So you can take that same program twice in a row and it would be a different experience based on the guide that you have. So I think letting people know that your experience at the park can be tailored to you, could certainly be unique every time that you're coming to the park, but that there's so many different aspects and elements of the park that I'm not sure everybody knows about. We mentioned off the top, everybody goes out to Wanuskewin on their grade 7 field trip, right?
Well, they had a show that they've retired, but it had the phrase, "What does Wanuskewin mean to you?"
The old video, yeah.
And now that it's gone, I miss it, and I want to.
Well,
do they have an archive somewhere?
We've got something cooking where we might bring this back.
Okay.
Yeah. We might have some retro
first.
days. Yeah. But yes, it's that experience, for school-aged kids to come to the park and have those experiences. But there's also a lot there for people of all ages, people of all backgrounds, to come to the park to really immerse yourself and experience these different elements of culture. We have a backlog of guest books that go back until 92. And there'll be someone from Sweden commenting, I feel a connection here. There's something special. There's an energy down in the valley when I'm on the land. Same thing reported from someone from Brazil. Same thing reported from someone from Tisdale, Saskatchewan. There really is a calming spirit there. There's something that is intangible that you just kind of have to, if you haven't been, you just kind of have to be on the land and
you can't experience this in one visit, by the way. I've been there multiple times.
Yeah.
Still haven't actually walked the trails.
You gotta. Like I say, there's
the full trails, I should say.
Yeah.
The full trails.
But when I walk the trails, or I think about, what were the reasons? Why did people keep coming here? 6,400 years. What was the reasons? And if we zoom out and kind of look at, Saskatchewan on a map, or the plains on a map, it starts to make a lot of sense. The South Saskatchewan River flows right by the edge of the valley, where the valley ends. So this would have been kind of like the highway, the traditional highway that would have led you right there. There are these steep cliffs there that are ideal for hunting. There is a beautiful vista lookout point. Well, this is where a medicine wheel has been placed, and this would be an important part of ceremony. Mm-hmm. There are all these, and it's centrally located too. So if I'm coming from the north, south, east, or west, what a great rendezvous point that we could meet up for trade. So thinking about it in that regard, well, it starts to make more and more sense.
And humans didn't just congregate their animals. Was it a good place for animals too?
Well, again, yes. Mobile hunting communities, this would have been the perfect spot to procure bison. So all of these things, are reasons why people would have come there. And then in addition, it's beautiful. it's just a beautiful sight. And aren't humans kind of drawn to that natural beauty? And I definitely think for those people that maybe haven't experienced the prairies before, and maybe you have some ideas about what the prairies are, this kind of dispels a lot of that. Yes, there are hills and valleys in Saskatchewan, and it's just a beautiful place.
Do you find like you've been there for how many? 25 years?
14 years now.
So 14,
Yeah,
so 25 in marketing.
Yeah.
Like 14 years there.
Yeah.
Like what keeps you there? Like what do you seem pretty passionate about it.
Yeah, it is. I feel extremely lucky. I feel extremely humbled on a daily basis to be able to do the work that I do, because I understand that this is a heavy responsibility, and I want to make sure I'm doing it right. I don't all the time, for sure. Lots to learn, lots of getting better, but want to be in service of this place. And I think about that initial group of founders, again, Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, thinking in long-term ways about building this park, building this place that was for the benefit of their children and their children's children. That's a heavy responsibility, and I want to make sure that I'm on side with their wishes. Do
you feel like you're a steward of the
I hope
mission?
to be. I hope to be. Yeah, I hope to be. That's my aspiration for sure. The Indigenous elders and knowledge keepers that were a part of this initially wanted to have a place for youth to be able to go to learn about true history, to see positive representation, to learn about themselves. For non-Indigenous youth, this was a place to go to grow appreciation, to have better understanding, and learn about treaty obligation as well. This is something that now is being taught more in schools. This is part of the curriculum. That's fantastic.
Well, it seems more relevant than ever. And like, especially like we live in we're in the 2020s, right?
Yeah.
And immigration's a huge part of Canada and just the economy. And like you have newcomers like crazy, and now they have a place to learn.
Right.
Not just Canadian textbook history, which is sort of like how old's Canada? Like 150 in 2017, I think was a 150 or 2018.
60-ish.
Yeah.
60. Yeah.
But then this is like beyond that by so much. And
right.
And then like to the people, and like you're saying, I don't know where the phrase comes, but we're all treaty people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was part of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission or just
prior to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But like to like kind of see like that's, and even my own family background is they're still immigrants to Saskatchewan from they came in boats through Halifax back, not even 100 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Not that many generations ago.
Right. So I think about, so if it is a new Canadian that's coming to Wanuskewin to learn about Northern Plains cultures, or if it is, a kindergarten student that's coming to the park to learn about Indigenous culture and heritage, if it is all these guests that are coming to the park, what would happen if Wanuskewin wasn't there? What would happen? Where would they go? What would that if it wasn't for Wanuskewin? There are a lot of I just think that this is a fantastic place if we are doing what we should be doing, and if we are being true to those founders. I just think that's a really powerful thing for us to a role that we play in the community.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk about memberships and corporate memberships. Talk to me about that. Like, how does Wanuskewin, continue to develop and grow, and even just the facility. Like, you've had some amazing like funding over the years to make it what it is, which like it is an impressive
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
But how does that keep growing? The gift shop, the residencies. You said Greg and
Olivia Ewell.
Ewell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, those kind of partnerships are probably, they make a huge difference on what you can do as far as programming. So maybe,
Yeah.
talk to me about that.
Yeah, that is that's a really important point in that us being able to work with the corporate sector as well, and if it is that a group or a company is looking for a place for a conference and event, yes, that can happen. However, there's also these opportunities for cultural learning that is made available to them. So, um, so by them kind of partnering with the park, being able to grow programming opportunities or grow or help support core funding, or, I mean, there's a number of different ways that we have worked with different partners over the years. That makes all the difference. Like any nonprofit, we are really dependent on donations like that. And so more and more we're finding from folks that they are wanting to not just donate, but they want to partner with us. We have an online video series that we've also made available to people across the world. And this is taking our programming and turning this into kind of like a Netflix style.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. So we have a series of videos, and some tailored towards like kind of school age kids. But then also we have another series that is about reconciliatory work. And so this can be made available to anybody around the world. And this is another part of us kind of creating this education piece and us fulfilling our mandate of cultural education to help support companies in those ways.
And then specifically, I'm going from our notes here.
Yeah.
Wanuskewin membership. So this can come down. You can be involved at a family level where
Yeah.
a family just buys a yearly membership. Tell me a little bit about that.
So our membership program, I think, is quite unique in that, yes, you can have a family membership, you can have an individual membership, and kind of everything in between. There's discounts for students, seniors. However, what is offered to you as part of this, I think, is quite unique. So there is discounts to our gift shops. There's actually 4 gift shops in Saskatoon now and online, but the 4 gift shops are at the Dakota Dunes Hotel, as well as...
I saw that one. I was there like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
With my wife.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah.
As well as one at the park, of course. There is a beautiful 5,000 square foot store on Broadway.
I've been there too.
Yeah.
That one's pretty new too. Like
that one's only about a year and a half.
Okay, year and a half.
Yeah. And then we have one new one at the airport. And so it's a kiosk at the airport. This is brand new.
Is it past
like last couple
security?
Weeks. Yes.
Okay.
So just at the top of the escalators.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a discount that's available to members there. There's also a discount for the Dakota Dunes Hotel. So if you wanted to, go spend the night at the dunes, they're really good partners of ours. And we've actually, in working with the Dakota Dunes as well as Beardy's Okimesas Cree Nation, Beardy's has a tourism arm called Pimiska. And so the 3 of us working together have created Canada's first...
that's the Kichiota.
That's Kichiota, yeah. So
Okay.
That's Canada's first Indigenous tourism corridor. So,
which is Beardy's, Wanuskewin, and
Whitecap.
Whitecap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 3 of us working together, and now we've created this multi-day, multicultural experience that you can have here in the prairies. So it's been kind of growing up that infrastructure.
Is this part of your vision and working with partners? Or?
Working with partners, yeah, absolutely. So, but to grow that infrastructure as we aim for that UNESCO designation, we will see more people coming to the province because of Wanuskewin getting its designation for sure. But they're not just going to stay with us. They're going to go travel down south, up north. They're going to be moving around within Saskatoon.
Go to that new spa.
The new spa coming up.
What do you call it? Do you call it a Nordic spa?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Okay. I saw the renderings for that, and I'm like, I can't wait.
I know.
That Nordic spa
Exactly.
in Kananaskis is like my favorite place in the world.
I've never been. I got to try it out.
But yeah, if it's connected to them, I'm like,
yeah.
Plus, I'm a degenerate gambler. Not actually, but I enjoy my blackjack at the casino.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But imagine now that a guest that's coming to see us is not just going to stay with us, but they are going to be moving around. So this is a benefit to people within the Indigenous tourism sphere for sure, but then also I would say tourism in general. This is going to be a big deal for tourism in Saskatchewan.
Well, yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like everything that's trending, like everything you've shared about in my experiences, like there.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Beardy's to see what they're up to. So
it's very, very cool.
Okay.
They have these A-frame cabins. So
that's just past like Hague.
Yeah, by Duck Lake.
Duck Lake, yeah.
And so these A-frame cabins, and so you can spend the night there.
And that's on the North Saskatchewan then? Or would it be in the valley?
I believe we're going to get out a map at the end of this, and we're going to take a look.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah. But it's so cool, the experiences that they have there. ATV, bike rentals, theatrical experiences that happen in an old fort that's located out there. They are kind of defining Plains hospitality. It's so cool. So, and it's those two partners working with Wanuskewin, but then also Indigenous tourism within the province is really exploding. There's a lot of really cool ski holistic up north. There is it's just exploding all over the place. So I really hope that people, when making choices about where they'd want to go within traveling within the province, are thinking about some of these Indigenous tourism experiences in the province that the province has to offer.
It sounds cool. I think there's a very bright future there. I'm gonna wrap her up there.
Yeah.
We barely got through these questions. I like where I went though.
Yeah.
It's cool to see your passion. Where's my closer question? One idea or perspective you wish more people understood about Wanuskewin or the work behind it?
I really hope that people understand that Wanuskewin is welcoming to everyone. Mm-hmm. And I know when I began there 14 years ago, I had people in my life that were saying, well, can I go? I don't know a lot about Indigenous history or culture. Am I allowed to? Yes. Whatever that thing is that you, and there's a lot to be interested in there, whatever that thing is, please, we encourage you to come out and to try it. This is not, there's no barriers set up.
Yeah, and it's an evolving place. Like if you've went once, you haven't, like, every time I've gone, even in the past 5 years, it's like it's evolved. Especially, you have the artists in residence,
right?
New programming. It's such a great place. So.
And we want to try to, as much as possible, kind of remove any barriers of entry as well. So we have an admission pass that's available with the Saskatoon Public Libraries. You can rent that out. We also have, speaking of corporate partners working with us, we have sponsored days that allow for us to welcome people into the park free of charge. We also have, special days that happen throughout the year. So June 21st, National Indigenous Peoples Day, September 30th, Orange Shirt Day, Truth and Reconciliation Day. And then we also have Kona Winter Festival in February too. So those are free admission days throughout the year that folks can come out. Certainly, we encourage them to make a donation, but whatever they're comfortable doing, the idea is come out and experience this thing that is soon to become a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it. Just talking with you, I want to go again.
Absolutely.
I should make a date day with my wife.
Absolutely.
And just enjoy a meal there too.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for being here,
Thank you.
Andrew. If you'd like to connect with Andrew, you can find him on LinkedIn, but a better place to maybe meet him up would be go visit Wanuskewin.
Yeah.
And you can follow Wanuskewin on Instagram at Wanuskewin, Wanuskewin. Yeah. Thanks again for being here, Andrew.
Thanks, man. I appreciate this.